And joining us now, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, retired four-star Navy Admiral James Stavridis. He is Chief International Analyst for NBC News. Admiral Stavridis, always great to have you with us. So what is your sense here in the now weeks since those 3 American service members were killed about the response from the United States, about these acts of retaliation, including that targeted strike inside Baghdad on a single vehicle that took out this leader of Hezbollah?
The administration has done the right thing, trying to use proportional force and gradually ratcheting up as we continue to see attacks coming not only from the Hezbollah cadres, but also these militant groups, such as the leader was just killed up, and the Houthis down on the Red Sea, Willie. So administration has been upping the ante. And as the statement from U.S. Central Command down in Tampa says, they had a shot. This was the leader of the group that actually perpetrated the attack that killed 3 servicemen and women. This is the Bakhtari Hezbollah, just means brigades of God. They took out the commander, very clean strike, no collateral damage, as you can see. I think it's an appropriate level of response.
Admiral, yesterday, as we just saw in the clip that we played, Secretary of State Blinken met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. My question to you is, Prime Minister Netanyahu and his cabinet, friend or foe?
A terrific question, and increasingly you feel the word frenemy in there from the pop culture. Certainly Benjamin Netanyahu. On the other hand, the second leading figure in that cabinet, Mike, is former general leader of the Israeli Defense Forces, Benny Gantz, someone I count as a close personal friend. Throughout my time as NATO commander, I was additionally required to be the lead on U.S.-Israeli military to military. So I worked a lot with then General Gantz. I think he's probably the next prime minister of Israel. A lot of polls would tell you that. He is certainly someone we have worked with for decades and continue to do so. Netanyahu is increasingly an obstruction to peace in this process.
So, Admiral, part of the thinking behind, of course, these U.S. strikes is to be a deterrent. But at least with the Houthis, it's not working. The U.S. and the U.K. even had a joint launch a few days ago and took out a series of Houthi targets in Yemen. But yet, yesterday, yet another Houthi strike in the Red Sea. What would you recommend there? I mean, I know this is a naval operation, so certainly it's near and dear to your heart. What more could be done to try to stop these attacks, which are having real economic impact? There's reports today about a major shipping company that's really cutting back its boats through the Red Sea because of these strikes.
I think there are 3 things additionally we're going to have to do here. Number one, correctly, we're focused on the tactical end of the operation. So I would say simply increasing the volume of strikes against the missile launchers, the radars, the command and control, the fuel, the repair depots, the small boats. There are more targets there that we need to, as we say in the business, service. We ought to go after those targets at a higher level of volume. Secondly, Jonathan, it's the resupply routes that come from Iran. These are principally done at sea. You're going to have to interdict them at sea. I've run those kind of interdiction operations many times. It'll require not only U.S., but our allies. And third and finally, there are economic tools that can be placed at play here that would further sanction Iran and its oil and gas. That's the obvious package. The next level up, Jonathan, if that doesn't get the attention of Tehran sufficiently, I think you go after Iranian maritime capabilities. Go after perhaps their naval boats, some of their small Coast Guard, the oil and gas platforms that they use for intelligence. I think the next step beyond the first 3 I mentioned is probably upping the game to go after Iran directly. That's big casino. Let's hope we don't go there.
Retired 4-star Admiral James Stavridis, thank you very much once again for being on.